بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين واللعنة الدائمة الأبدية على أعدائهم أجمعين لا قيام يوم الدين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. So we are going to continue the where we left about the rulings of staying in Mina. The whole idea was that either you stay the first half or the second half. And we mentioned that during this time, you can, if you have to go out of Mina just to do some things and come back, like restroom or those kind of things, that's fine. But there were some alternatives. So there was, again, there was a question that what are these alternatives? We mentioned this, but I don't have any problem in repeating those. The exemptions from, as I said, people, they look for the exemptions from staying in Mina. So let's see what are the exemptions of staying in Mina. So basically, ruling number 428, we mentioned that there are people who are exempt. Number one, those whom have difficulty and hardship in staying in Mina. They have fear on their lives, their dignity, their wealth if they sleep over there in Mina, which is not the case nowadays, you see. But yes, fear on life or fear on being harmed, that's those who are like people, they might have disease, they might have problems, weakness, sickness. Those can come under this category of yakhafu ala nafsa, or those who have for those on whom it is difficult to stay in Mina, so that it causes difficulty and hardship. So they are exempt, number one. But this exempt, number one group, they have to pay kafara on the basis of obligatory precaution. So, yeah, on the base, because they have this difficulty and hardship situation. So are they exempt and they don't have to pay kafara, or they are exempt but they have to pay kafara? So Sayyidi Sistani Damadullah chooses the obligatory precaution. Some Maraja, they say they don't have to pay kafara even. So people can refer to these Maraja if they are these people, they have difficult situation and hardship, then they can refer to other Maraja. And then, so this was number one. Number two, this is someone who left Mina first half of the night, okay, and or before that first half of the night, and then when he was returning, he got preoccupied in worshipping in Mecca, okay, entire night. So that means before midnight till the Fajr. This is what we mentioned in our previous session, that the wording is al-ibadah fi Makkah. That means not in the Masjid al-Haram. Makkah could be in this house, in his Masjid al-Haram. Since the house is not mentioned here, in Q&A session, the house was mentioned to clarify the ruling. Okay. So he's busy in ibadah from before midnight till the rise of the dawn, unless if there were some necessities like food, drink, and he has to do so, take care of certain necessity issues. And then number three, who left Makkah, he wants to come back to Mina. So what happens? He passed Aqabat al-Madaniyin, that the place where they give the pledge of Aqaba, people of Medina. Aqabatul Madaniyin, the place, the station or the stop of the people of Medina, where they used to stop there and rest before continuing their journey. So this place of stop area or resting area or pausing area of people of Medina, this is just outside of the border of Mina, like Jamratul Aqaba. Remember? So for them, it's permissible to just make the intention of sleeping there or sleep over there, and before they enter Mina. So making the intention or sleeping there. And the fourth one was the people who quench the thirst of the Hujjaj. So our main are these two and three. And there's no kafara. Let's say somebody was coming to back to Mina, and he was not able to enter from the Jamrat al-Aqaba side. So if he reaches this place where the people of Medina used to pause after Jamrat al-Aqaba, then he can make the intention there. But this is also not that much practical, because nowadays it's easy to enter Mina. They're walking paths. They can come towards Azizi and get inside the tunnel, and they're out in Mina directly, or fly over and just get off the bridge. But the main thing is number two, the first half or the second half. And so this is what we were mentioning in our session previously, that it's not just Masjid al-Haram like other Maraja, it is even in his house in Mecca. How did we know? The Manasik al-Hajj does not mention. It is clarified in the Q&A which we did yesterday. So let's continue the Q&A which we stopped yesterday. And so we reached question number 42. Okay, so someone who left Mina in the beginning of the night, or before that even, his intention was to leave Mina to perform the tawaf of Hajj and Sa'i and tawaf of Nisa, the sandwich, tawaf, Sa'i, tawaf. So there are four questions answered in the fourth question raised in this issue. Ma hukmuhu? What is his ruling? If he finishes his a'mal before midnight and he leaves towards Mina. However, the traffic prevented him to arrive in Mina before midnight. He says if he had left Makkah, towards Mina, then there is no problem in it. Okay? إذا كان قد خرج من مكة فلا شيء عليه. However, if he stays in Makkah, okay, the second half of the night. Remember, you want to stay in Makkah, you stay second half of the night, not the first half of the night. This guy has stayed half of the night, and he is going to Mina. He is in his way to Mina. Okay, so if he left Makkah, fine. But if he stays in Makkah and the midnight passes and he doesn't occupy himself with the dua, and then with the ibadah, and then he's on his way, not on his way to Mina, then he has not attended Mina other half. He has not worshipped in Makkah other half of the night. Other half of the night is for worshipping in Makkah, not the first half of the night. So he will pay penalty on the base obligatory precaution. Now, what about the delay? He arrived in Mina, delay. Okay. So this person, he was not expecting any delays in traffic on his way back. So there's no kafara on him, because he left Makkah. Okay. He left Makkah on his way to Mina, and he has planned properly to arrive in Mina before midnight. However, unexpected, remember, unexpected traffic stopped him from entering Mina. He says that's fine. What if he had expected the traffic, which is the normal case nowadays for those who are used to going, but maybe this person was a new person and he did not know that while coming back to Mina, because everyone comes back to Mina from the Muslims, Shias and Sunnis and everybody, because staying in a night in Mina is obligation for all the Ummah. So let's say he was expecting, but yet he left late, okay, in a way that the traffic was cause of his delay. And he was expecting the traffic. Then in this case, he will pay the kafara on the basis of obligatory precaution. For Sayyidi Sistani, he says, even in the first scenario, هذا إذا لم يتوقع التأخير في الوصول بسبب الزحام. That's first scenario. Second one, otherwise, kafara will be obligated on as an obligatory precaution, even in the first scenario. So at the end, he said, even in the first scenario, there'll be kafara. So the bottom line is your delay, whether you're expecting or not expecting, the delay will cause kafara upon you. So it's better to stay in Makkah, continue ibadah, okay, until the rise of the dawn. You don't have to come back to Mina and put yourself into this position where you will be. So that's why in his answer, there are three segments. Segment number one, if he leaves Makkah, okay, then there is no problem in it. However, if he stays over in Makkah, okay, then there is a penalty on the basis of obligatory precaution. But if he continues his ibadah in Makkah until the rise of the dawn, then there is no problem. So this is the thing. The scenario number one, if he stays in Makkah until the dawn, no penalty. If he moves towards Mina and arrives in Mina before the midnight, no penalty. If he leaves Makkah and arrives Mina after midnight, regardless of expectation of delay or no expectation of delay, in both cases there is a penalty on the basis of obligatory precaution. Okay, so yeah. So in all the cases, if he's expecting, then he will pay the penalty. So إذا كان قد خرج من مكة فلا شيء عليه. If he had left Makkah, there is nothing upon him. وإن بات فيها لزمته كفارة شاة على الأحوط. But if he stays in Makkah without ibadat, because we have given the ibadat issue is exempt, he just stays in Makkah, then sleeps in Makkah, then on the basis of obligatory precaution, he needs to pay penalty, a goat. This is if he was not expecting any delays. That means he left Makkah and he was not expecting any delays. But if he was expecting delays, then وَإِلَّا لَزِمَتْهُ الْكَفَّارَةِ عَلَى الْأَحْوَطِ. Obligatory precaution, he needs to pay penalty. Even in the first scenario, which is he was not expecting the delay. He was not expecting the delay in traffic delays. Okay. Scenario number two. So that was section number one. Section number two. وما حكمه إذا انتهى من أعماله بعد منتصف الليل. What is the ruling if he finished his a'mal of Makkah after midnight. And immediately he went towards Mina. And he was not able to arrive there except for before the dawn or after the dawn. So he said, there will be a penalty. Sheep, you see. He left Makkah after midnight. And he did not arrive except a few moments before Fajr or after the Fajr. So the second stay in Mina is gone. So he says he needs to pay penalty if he does not. تلزمه الكفارة شاة لو لم يصل. So the penalty of sheep is obligatory upon him if he arrived after Fajr, after the dawn. What if he arrived before the dawn? Penalty on the basis of obligatory precaution. Because he left Makkah after midnight. So he arrived somewhere after midnight. So second half of the night has gone. So there is, there's a penalty for it. Okay, so third section of the same ruling. He finished, he finished his a'mal of Makkah in midnight, after midnight, sorry. So can he go to his house, which is in Makkah, to fulfill some of the needs and then come to Mina? He says no. It is not permissible for him to go to his house. Okay, he has to try to come back to Mina, even though he's missed part of the midnight. Fine. Okay, so he says it's not permissible unless if he was compelled to, due to the necessity to delay his return to Mina. So that means people, they have to come back to Mina and pay penalty. So whatever is left, they have to take it. You have to grasp it from the midnight, the second half of the night. If there's 2 hours left, they have to be there in Mina and pay penalty. But if they come after Fajr, they have to pay penalty. If they come before Fajr, penalty is obligatory precaution. So here he says, no, you can't delay going back to Mina. You finish your amal after midnight. You have to go back to Mina. You can't go stop over to the house to take some needful things and then go to Mina, then return Mina. Unless if it was necessary, it was from the basis of needs and necessity. If someone did some of the amal and some of the amal were remaining, like amal of Makkah, tawaf, salatul tawaf, sa'i between Safa and Marwa, tawaf al-nisa, salat tawaf al-nisa. So he did some, and some of them were left. And he's afraid if he's going to complete his amal of Makkah, the other half of the night will be missed. Okay, in Mina. So can he delay the tawaf al-nisa to another time? Obviously, we know there's no connection between amal al-hajj and tawaf al-nisa. Yes, tawaf al-hajj and sa'i, it needs to be done in the same day. So it says, yes, it is obligatory precaution upon him to return Mina before midnight, even if it required him to delay some of the amal. Question number 43. You mentioned in the manasik that those who are exempt from staying in Mina, who left Makkah intending the return to Mina, but he passed the Aqaba of Madaniyin, the stopover of people of Medina. So it is permissible for him to just sleep on his way, okay, before arriving Mina. Does this apply? Because Aqabat al-Madinin is from that Misfala side and Jummeza side and the other side. But this, the question is that what about, remember, this is Mina and this is Azizia. There's a mountain between them. This is Makkah, this is Mina, and there's a mountain. So we are talking about this Aqabat al-Madanin is here beside the bigger pillar of Shaitan. What about those people who are staying in Aziziyah and they're planning to come to Makkah? They're passing the tunnel. Okay. Uh, so can this be applied to them also? فوصل إلى حي العزيزية. Someone who left Makkah and arrived in the locality of Aziziyah. Okay, neighborhood or Aziziyah or any other neighborhood similar, which is after the Aqabat al-Madaniyin. So where is this is Mina, okay? Aqabat al-Madaniyin is here, Aziziyah is here. Okay. So yeah. So does the rule of Aqabat al-Madaniyin, which is beside Jamrat al-Aqaba, big pillar of Shaitan, apply on someone who's coming to Mina from the Aziziyah? So he came to Hayy al-Aziziyah neighborhood or any of the neighborhoods which is after the Aqabat al-Madini. So Aqabat al-Madini is here. Aziziyah is here, the tunnel of Aziziyah. Okay. So will it apply that somebody just مما هو بعد عقبة فنام فيها, so he sleeps in Aziziyah, okay, in midnight, or makes the intention and sits down there. فيها سواء كان المبيت في محل سكنه أم لا. Even he says that the accommodation is here, which is again after the Aqabat al-Madinin. So can he just sleep there? He says the hypothesis of this ruling is that exiting Makkah from that side, from that northwest side, where they will hit the Jamratul Aqaba and Aqabat al-Madinin. It's very specific. The narration is very specific about that. Okay. And the neighborhoods which are after the Aqabat al-Madinin from that side, which are part of the holy city. Okay. So these areas are called Makkah. And it is not permissible to include these areas, newly developed areas like Aziziyah, into the areas which are after Aqabat al-Madinin. After Aqabat al-Madinin is Jamrat al-Aqaba and then Mina. Here it's whole Makkah, new developed area of Makkah. So he said we can't apply that rule because there is a chain of mountain. This is Makkah and this is Mina. So we can't apply that rule of after Aqabat al-Madinin to Aziziyah. Yes, if you stretch a line from Aqabat al-Madinin, Aziziyah falls after that line, but that is not included. Question number 44. You mentioned in Manasik that whoever leaves Makkah to return and he passes the Aqabat al-Madaniyin, the stopover of people of Medina, it is permissible for him to sleep there, okay, before arriving Mina. So if a person was staying in Aziziyah or a Shisha, yeah, that's Shisha. I was saying Misfala, Shisha, Shisha, like hookah, Shisha, okay. So the Shisha is after Aqabat al-Madaniyin. So, but Shisha is part of Makkah. It's from this side, Shisha, and this side, Aziziyah. So is it permissible for him to exit Makkah from the old Makkah and sleep there in Shisha or Aziziyah out of option and does not go Mina? You see, because after Aqabat al-Madaniyin, there is this Shisha this side, and then Azizia, and then there is this Mina this side. So they're parallel after Aqabat al-Madini. So he said, instead of Mina, can we just stay in Makkah in these areas which are after Aqabat al-Madaniyin option? He said, no, it's not permissible. That is Makkah. This is Mina. This is entrance to Mina, pathway to Mina. And that is the narration is very specific about it. Question number 45. If someone missed portion of a night which is supposed to stay in Mina due to an excuse, then will he be penalized with the kafara or with the sheep? So he says, if he stays in Mina, so he says, if he stays in Mina before the first half of the night until the midnight, or he stays before the midnight and stays the other half of the night until the dawn, there is nothing upon him because he chose one of the two nights. Otherwise, if he misses more than that, more than one first half of the night or more than second half of the night, then on the basis of obligatory precaution, yes, even though he is excused and pardoned, he has some excuse, kafara will be on the basis of obligatory precaution. Excuse me. Again, if somebody misses a portion of the obligatory part of the staying over in Mina due to an excuse, what is the ruling? He has to pay a penalty on the basis of obligatory precaution. So the one who is pardoned, he has to pay penalty on the basis of obligatory precaution. So they can refer to another marja. But someone who intentionally, deliberately misses staying in Mina, it's not obligatory precaution. It's a fatwa. So it's a fatwa. So a person is considered sinner. He needs to pay penalty there, and he needs to do istighfar as well, repentance. And the paying the penalty in the deliberate condition or the intentional case is obligatory and not obligatory precaution. Excuses, they have obligatory precaution, penalty. Missing out Mina or portion of Mina, portion of obligatory part which is supposed to stay. If he misses out that intentionally, fatwa is kafara, that he has to pay, no more referring to another marja. Plus it's a sin, requires istighfar. If out of excuse, he still needs to pay, but there's no istighfar, there's no, because he had an excuse, he was pardoned. But penalty will be there on the basis of obligatory precaution. Here, the person can refer to another marja. Okay, question number 47. Yeah. So if a person arrives late, 5 minutes late in the second half of the night, okay, arrives after midnight, 5 minutes late after midnight. So will there be penalty? Does it make any difference that it was out of uh, it was intentional, it was an intentional delay, or he was compelled and he didn't have any other option, necessity, traffic, whatever, and he thought that he would arrive, but then he arrived late? So excuses because of the traffic, because of the or he did not know the ruling of the half of the night, that he has to be sharp and precise, spend the precise time of the half of the night, and it's not the common consideration or commonly considered half night. So he says, yes, on the basis of obligatory precaution, there is a penalty. Okay? Except unless if he left Makkah before midnight and he arrived late in Mina due to unexpected delay. But in previous ruling, it's an unexpected delay. Also, there's obligatory precaution, which was question number. Yeah, the first scenario, the fourth scenario, the first scenario of question number 42. So he said that if somebody leaves Makkah, then he doesn't have anything. Leaves Makkah before midnight. That's fine. He arrives in Mina before midnight. But if he stayed in Makkah without ibadah, then on the basis of obligatory precaution, penalty. This is if he did not expect any delay. Otherwise, there will be a penalty of sheep on the basis of obligatory precaution, even in the first scenario. And the first scenario here is he was not expecting delay. So this question, question number 40. Yeah. So إذا بقي في منى من أول الليل إلى نصفه أو من قبيل النصف إلى طلوع الفجر فلا شيء عليه وإلا فالأحوط لزوما. Yeah, this is 47, question number 47. So 5 minutes late. He says kafara will be obligated upon him on the basis of obligatory precaution. Unless if he left Makkah, so he left Makkah لو أدرك الحاج المبيت في منى في النصف الثاني من الليل. Okay. That means he left Makkah before midnight and he arrived midnight, 5 minutes after midnight. So he had left Makkah earlier. The scenario which was in the previous ruling, somebody left Makkah before midnight, but somehow the traffic caused him to delay, unexpected. So there's an obligatory precaution penalty. Here there is إلا إذا خرج من مكة, unless if he leaves Makkah and he arrives Mina 5 minutes late due to accidental damage or accidental reasons or something like traffic which was unexpected. So here in unexpected there is no penalty. So that means there is a typo. So I'll have to check with the office of Sayyidi Sistani Damadullah that why this ruling and that ruling they have either here there's a typo because there needs to be on the basis of obligatory precaution. Because that even in that ruling, it said even in the first scenario. And the first scenario was it was unexpected delay. So therefore, this is I'll double check with them and I'll come back to you. So is there a kafara for unexpected delay? Because this happens a lot. Some people they think that 1 hour is enough. No. Sometimes 2 hours, they need 2 hours to arrive because of the traffic. Depends on the time, the path, the road. whatever you take. And mostly, most of the people, they think that there's traffic 1 hour, 2 hours, they just take that kind of precaution. Sometimes they have to wait 3 hours. So that is unexpected. Anyhow, question number 48. Whoever wanted to return to Mina to spend the night there, the traffic stopped him. It is all repeated questions. So again, إذا كان قد خرج من مكة فلا شيء عليه. If he had left Makkah, okay, then there is nothing upon him. He left Makkah. And it was when? Before midnight. We have to keep that hypothesis before midnight he left. That means not after midnight. So before midnight he left, and he wants to perform the sleep over in Mina. So in kharaja min Makkah fala shay alayh. If he leaves Makkah before midnight, there's nothing on him. If the traffic unexpected, remember we have to put unexpected. We have to connect this ruling with that ruling. وَإِن بَاتَ فِيهَا لَزِمَتْهُ كَفَّارَةُ شَهْرٍ. If he does not leave Makkah and he stays there, then on the basis of obligatory precaution, that means the traffic stopped him. So if he leaves Makkah and the traffic stops him and he's still in Makkah, he did not leave Makkah, so still he is in the traffic inside Makkah. But if it was in the middle of the way, he left Makkah. So see the wording, إِذَا خَرَجَ مِن Makkah. That means he exited the border of Makkah, but yet he had not entered the border of Mina. So in this case, there is nothing upon him because he left Makkah. وَإِن بَاتَ فِيهَا, the night overtook upon him and he was in Makkah, then on the basis of obligatory precaution, he needs to pay a penalty. Question number 49. If someone leaves Mina before sunset and completed his amal of Makkah, Tawaf, Hajj, before midnight. So again, same scenario repeated. He finished before midnight. And he was returning to Mina. However, he was not able to arrive before midnight. He arrived after midnight. So what is the ruling? And what is the ruling if the traffic was the cause of the delay, which is out of the capacity of, beyond the control of the human being? It's beyond the control, beyond the capacity of the responsible person. So he says, if, again, expected, unexpected. He said, if the obstruction was accidental, unexpected, which prevented him from arriving Mina before midnight, after exiting Makkah, then there's nothing upon him. He left Makkah, but he did not arrive. So nothing upon him. Accidental, unexpected. وَمَا لَوْ كَانَ يَعْلَمْ. However, if he knew that if he will not leave Makkah before midnight, 2 hours before midnight, for example, then he will not be able to arrive in Mina on time. Okay? Expected, that means we are talking about here, he knows. فلا يمكن الوصول إلى منى قبيل منتصف الليل للزحام. He knows that he will not be able to arrive Mina before midnight due to the traffic on his way back. In spite of that, he delayed. Then on the basis of obligatory precaution, kafara will be obligated upon that person. Question number 50. Again, it's repeated. So someone arrives after a few minutes of sunset and stayed until midnight. and returned to Makkah. So he did not arrive on midnight or before midnight. Due to the traffic, this was a first half nighter. That means he was planning to stay first half of the night. So he was planning to come to Mina, time of the Maghrib, okay, time of the sunset. But due to the traffic, he arrived a few minutes after the sunset. And he stayed there until midnight and returned after the midnight to Makkah. Is there anything upon him? Yes. It's not obligatory precaution. There's a goat penalty. He says, is there anything upon him? Yes, there's goat upon him. Why? He arrived Mina after a few minutes of midnight. Remember the preciseness of the half of the night, first half or second half? Someone stayed in Makkah one of these nights, which is supposed to be in Mina, due to medical emergency, which necessitate upon him to stay there and not to go to Mina. Will penalty obligated upon him? Yes, on the basis of obligatory precaution. Why on the basis of obligatory precaution? Because this person has sickness, is pardoned, one of those who they fall in category number 1 of the exempt people. Question number 2. If someone intended to stay overnight in Mina, then a necessity imposed upon him to leave Mina. So he abandoned the staying over in Mina. Necessity, something due to certain necessity, sickness, illness, any problem. I mean, he's not optionally doing it, he's compelled to do. So, is there any something upon him? Yes. A penalty of sheep on the basis of obligatory precaution. So, number 1 exempt category, there is a penalty. Question number 53. So he says that a person decided to stay first half of the night in Mina. However, he got confused with the signs which are there defining the boundary of Mina. So he left that boundary a few steps, but he immediately came back in it. So that means few minutes or part, he was not inside that boundary. He was out of the boundary of Mina. We are talking about the night time. The daytime you can leave Mina. Does that cause problem, disruption in his staying in Mina? He was planning to stay the first half of the night. So he said, no, it does not affect, does not cause any disruption in his sleepover. Question number 54. So someone, remember, if someone stays 12th of Hajj at night in Mina, he needs to complete it with the sleepover and next day pelt the 3 pillars of shaitan, and then he can leave. He doesn't have to stay until Dhuhr if it was 13th. But 12th, you can't evacuate Mina before Dhuhr. So he says that if somebody left Mina before the sunset of the 12th, that means he doesn't have to stay 12 eve of 13th. So he left Mina. The police told him, go back to traffic, this, that. You have to come back. You're forced to come back. And he was not able to leave Mina before Ghurub. So does he have to stay over Mina that night? Or stone the 3 stones on the second day of 13? He said, if he really had evacuated, if he really had made proper evacuated Mina, okay? So that, what does that mean? That means he left Mina intending not to come back, and he left nothing there. Nothing was left there, nor his cap or his clothes, nothing. What happens sometimes, people, they leave something and they go to Makkah and they come back, so they have some stuff there. Okay. Now, because of the backpack era, they take everything and they bring everything, so everything is in backpack. ما بقاء لا بقاء علقة له. There's something which is connected to him in Mina, which requires that person to come back to Mina. So if somebody really did the intention of evacuation, and then after that he was compelled and brought back to Mecca by the authorities, I mean back to Mina by the authorities, or whatever reasons he might have, then yeah, then there shouldn't be any problem. Yeah, it doesn't need to. The police brought him back in Mina. Yeah, but it is not option. I mean, so therefore he doesn't have to stay the night of 12. As soon as the police tells him, though, now you can go Makkah, he can go. He doesn't have to stay in Mina that night and pelt the 3 stones. Question 55. Remember the carving of the mountain? You carved the stone out. So question 55 says, the authorities, they carved certain parts of mountains which are surrounding Mina, and they made streets and buildings for Hajjaj to stay there. And the foundations of these buildings, okay, are uh, grounded in the places which of mountain which was carved out. We took this question, you see, that if they carve the mountain piece out, is it considered, can they stay in that place where the mountain was carved out or not, or they have to come and stay inside and not on the flat ground where the mountains were carved out? So here they said that carved out mountains places, now they have buildings, they have streets and all those kind of things. Yeah, and the foundation of these buildings are engraved in the ground where those mountains were available before, small pieces of mountains or hills which were removed, which were carved out. So what is the ruling in staying in these places, which were, because you can't stay over at night or sleep overnight or stay over on the mountain. It has to be in the valley. Mina, we said, is valley. He says when the mountains were removed, if the mountains, he says, if the mountains were carved in a way that the place became flat ground, it was not height and up, it was ground. If it has not become flat, excuse me, if it has not become flat ground, still it is mountainish, hilltops, no. It needs to be, we mentioned this previously, it needs to be flat, carved totally to the ground. ground zero. So the here he says, yeah, so the question says that these mountains and places, they carve part of it, but some of the parts are there, and in that they engraved or embedded the foundation of these buildings which they built upon. وقواعد هذه العمارات على الجبل المنحوت. So it's still on Jabal. So that's why he says that if the mountain was not totally removed, carved out totally, and it has not become flat ground, then it would not be sufficient to stay over on these heights or in the ground in the mountain, like it's hilltop type of thing. You see, if they are not flat to ground zero, excuse me, if they're not flat to ground zero, then you cannot stay on the top areas. It needs to be, the tents needs to be in the valley on the flat zero, ground zero ground. So this was the, he says, if the mountain was not totally eliminated or carved totally, and the ground was not made like a flat ground, then staying in that area will not be sufficient. Question number 56. So Sayyid Sistani says, in question number 56 is quoting the ruling of Sayyid Sistani in Manasik. He says that whoever leaves Mina the first in the beginning of the night or before the beginning of the night, then he should come back, okay, to stay in it before the midnight, to stay until the dawn on the basis of obligatory precaution. So he says that there are maraja', they say you don't have to come back before midnight. Okay? You don't have to come back before midnight. You can come back, you can arrive a few hours, even if the few hours are left for Fajr, you can arrive there. You don't have to arrive before midnight. Say this instance says, rather, a person must arrive before midnight on the basis of obligatory precaution. So, if someone leaves in the beginning of the night or before the beginning of the night, he should come back before the dawn. This is a general fatwa of other maraja as well, that before dawn they needs to be in Makkah. I mean in Mina. See, this is as rather uh, he needs to arrive before midnight on the basis of obligatory precaution. So he says, can someone refer to another marja who is next in line in being most knowledgeable in A'lamiyya, who does not require a person to be in Makkah from the before midnight? When they come, even after midnight, they come 1 hour, 2 hour, even a few hours before Fajr, they consider permissible. So can we refer to that marja and we don't have to come before midnight? He says, yes, you can. يجوز له ذلك. If you have any marja next in line in Alamiya, then you can refer to that marja. Question number 57. We mentioned this, that if somebody does not avoid the hunting and the women. It would be obligatory upon him to, in the state of ihram, obviously. It will be obligatory upon him to stay over the eve of 13th and stone the three pillars. So he says this eve of 13, which is according to the problems he did, he has to stay there. So can he just spend his night in Makkah in ibadah like the way we had eve 11th, eve 12th? He says no. لا يجزي الإحياء عن المبيت في هذا المذكور في هذا المورد. In this case, you can't go in there and do mabit in Mecca by doing ibadat, spending your time in ibadat, or yeah, or staying in Mina. هل يجزي عن إحياء العبادات? So does the substituted worship in Mecca replace the eve of 13 the way it was in 11, 12? He says no. It does not. It is not sufficient. Question number 58. Someone cannot stay eve of 11th and eve of 12th due to the difficulty and hardship. So he is exempt. He's exempt. However, is it obligatory upon this person to preoccupy himself in Makkah with the ibadat before midnight until the rise of the dawn? He says it is precautionary for him to do so. If he does not, then on the basis of obligatory precaution, there will be a penalty of sheep. So you see, this person, he cannot, from the first category of exempt people, due to the difficulty, hardship, complications. So he is exempt, but he will have to pay kafara. Okay. So can he stay there in Makkah and do ibadat as well? He can't go Mina because of his problems. He has problems. But can he just do the ibadah as well? So he says yes. If he, because the exempt one, because of the sickness, disease, problem, weakness, they all have to pay kafara on the basis of obligatory precaution. And this scenario is one of those scenarios that he has to pay kafara on the basis of obligatory precaution. So now he's going to pay kafara because he is from the exempt. But his cause of exemption is what? Number one, difficulty and hardship. So now he will have to pay kafara. Unless if he kills two birds in one arrow. How? If he does ibadah before midnight until after the rise of the dawn, Fajr, then the kafara will be dropped off. You see? Because the worshipper, there's no kafara on him. The one who stays in Makkah spends other half night in ibadah, in Masjid al-Haram or in his house. There's no penalty on him. It's one of the things exempt. So if you do that ibadah, then you don't have to pay penalty. You got it? So basically, the one who's not going Mina because of the difficulty, hardship, sickness, disease, problems, weakness, fear, so they have to pay kafara on the basis of obligatory precaution. But if these people are smart, they preoccupy themselves in worship, acts of worship from before midnight till dawn, then in this case they are exempt from the kafara as well. Final question in this chapter of staying over in Mina. This question is same about somebody you mentioned in your book Manasik, that one of those who are exempt, someone from staying in Mina, someone who left Makkah intending to come back to Mina. However, he passed the Aqabat al-Madaniyin, the stopover of Madaniyin, people of Medina, in a way that it is permissible for him to sleep in that area, okay, before arriving Mina. So if somebody leaves that area, okay, moving towards Mina, however, he took not the route of Aqabat al-Madaniyin to enter Mina. He took the tunnel of Mu'aisim. Tunnel of Mu'aisim, for those who can't pronounce it, Mu'aisim, Mu'aisim, uh, like Ma'sum, Asama Ya'simu, Mu'aisim. So what about if somebody left Makkah towards Mina? However, he took the route of Mu'aisim. Is it permissible for him to stay over in the tents which are in the Valley of Fire? Remember, we spoke to the Valley of Fire. So he said, yes, it is permissible for them to sleep in that area. However, there are two conditions. Okay. Uh, نعم يجوز له النوم فيها فإنه يكفي فيها جوازه الخروج من مكة. You have left Makkah and your intention is to enter Mina. You've left Makkah, your intention is to enter Mina. So in that case, yes, you can sleep in this path of Mu'aisam if you find proper place, and yes, and there'll be no kafara on you. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Now we have 29 rulings regarding the stoning of the big pillar of shaitan. Hopefully we are able to complete these in our upcoming days. Thank you so much. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.